Welcome back. I'm Teresa from Phoenix Gate Crafts, and welcome to part 4 of the 2024 Textured Sampler Crochet Along. I'm doing this along with a knit along every Tuesday for the next few weeks. This is part 4, so you do need to watch the intro section and parts 1 through 3 in order to catch up to where we are. All links, of course, are in the video description. If you want to get the pattern, you can go to my blog at phoenixgatecrafts.com, or you can go to my Etsy shop for the complete pattern with both the knit and crochet patterns at my Etsy shop, which is etsy.com/shop/phoenixgatecrafts. And last thing, before we get to actually do the fun stuff, if you would like to have some community while you work on this, or have an easy way to ask questions that will relatively quickly be answered, please join my Facebook group, which is Phoenix Gate Crafts Group. So, friendly reminder that if you got the recommended amount of yarn, you're not going to run into some of the problems that I am probably going to run into. Although this section is a single crochet section, but it's not simple single crochet. We can't have it that easy. So if you are continuing the same color, you probably ended on a half double crochet corner. Now I'm going to give you an option here. So I'm going to do half double crochet, but you are of course welcome to do regular double crochet for the first round, which is the same thing that we do all the time. So you need 1 stitch here in the corner. I'm doing a chain 2. If you're doing double crochet, you can do a standing double crochet. And then I'm going to do my other half double crochet. Remember, if you're doing double crochets, all of these, when I say half double crochets on this round, you should do double crochets. And now I do my back post stitch, which I start like normal. Then I go from the back to the front, and then around the post through the big hole, and pick up, and then I just complete my stitch as normal. And we do that all the way across. This is old hat at this point. I just have to get past some body memory that tells me to do a double crochet instead of a half double crochet. And then once we get to the corner, we're going to do 2 stitches, whatever stitch we're doing, plus 2 chains, plus 2 more of the stitch we are doing. So if you're doing double crochets, 2 double crochets, 2 chains, 2 double crochets in the same corner stitch. And if you're doing like me, 2 half double crochets, 2 chains, 2 half double crochets. I will see you back at the beginning once you've gone all the way around. Alright, we've gone all the way around, and now we're just going to do a half double crochet into the first stitch to make the corner, like always. And now we're going to actually start our repeat. Alright, I should really clarify something. This is the repeat round, but the second round feels different because the round below it is now the pattern stitch, and because it's got chains, it looks funky, but the key to it is remembering that chains are stitches. We call them chain stitches for a reason. So we're going to chain 1 and then single crochet and chain 1. That's going to be our corner. Now, we're going to basically do single crochet 3 together and chain 1 all the way across. It's just a matter of where we start the single crochet 3 together, because we're going to start in the same place where we had our last stitch. So we have 1 stitch here, and so we're going to go pull up a loop, then we're going to go into the next stitch and pull up a loop, and then we're going to go into the next stitch and, you guessed it, pull up a loop. And then we're going to together pull through all the loops and then chain 1. And now, because we ended in this stitch right here, that's where we're going to start the next one. Essentially, we're only moving forward 2 because we always start in the same place where we last ended. So we're going to pull up a loop, pull up a loop, pull up a loop, and pull through all the loops and chain 1. You know what? I don't think I chained 1 on the last one, so I'm going to have to undo this. Oh, I did. Okay, it winds up being very small. It doesn't look like a chain 1. So just be aware of that. So in the same one we ended, we pull up a loop, pull up a loop, pull up a loop, pull through all 4 loops, chain 1. Then we start in the same one we just ended and pull up 3 loops in 3 consecutive stitches. It looks so much harder on paper. Pull through all 4, chain 1. You can kind of tell there is a chain 1 because it looks like you've got a little flower, kind of. And it's got a little hat. That's your chain 1. So if we're going to analyze our stitches, this is actually the top of the chain 3 together, and this one is the chain 1. That's going to be important on the next round. So we're going to start in the same one we ended in, pull up a loop, pull up a second loop, pull up a third loop in the consecutive stitches, and then yarn over and pull through all 4 and chain 1. That is literally all it is. I'll do one more with you. We find the same stitch we ended in and pull up a loop, and then we go to the next one and pull up a loop, and then we go to the next one and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all 4 loops, chain 1. Now I want you to do this all the way to the end. We are going to run out of stitches, so when you get to about 3 stitches from the end, 3 stitches from the corner, I should say, meet me back here. A quick tip. It will really help your next round if the chain 1 is a little bit looser, because you are going to have to wiggle in there. So leave your chain loose. All right. So we are at the end, and as you can see, it works out pretty perfectly. If it does not work out perfectly for you, if you can't just pick up a loop, pick up a loop, and then you're in the corner, just fudge it. It is totally okay. If you wind up ending here instead of in here, just do your last chain 1 and then do a single crochet in the corner, chain 2, single crochet, chain 1, and then we start our next row right there in there doing our single crochet 3 together. So we go in the corner, in the first stitch, in the second stitch, pull through, chain 1. All right. And then we're going to do the same exact thing we did before, remembering to leave your chain 1 loose. I also sometimes like to do a double check to make sure that I am coming into and out of the same stitch here, just to make sure I didn't accidentally move on to the next stitch. But I'll see you all the way around at the beginning. Remember, it's after your chain 1 on that last stitch, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, chain 1 for the corner. I just realized I did something. So if you look here at this little one, this first one on the second side, I missed this piece. So let me show you a little bit better. It's not such a big deal on the first round because sometimes there's a chain 1 or something that kind of goes into that first stitch. But you have to be careful after you've done your corner. So this is my corner. I've done my chain 1 and I'm going to pick up my first loop. I pick up my first loop here, but you can't skip this funky little thing right here that is actually the loop for this stitch right here. It's this one, not this one. This one actually goes to the next stitch, and that's your third loop. And then you do your yarn over, pull through, and from there you do your 1, 2, 3, starting from the same stitch. And then you do your chain 1. So just be careful in that corner. It's kind of disguised. It looks like a chain, but it isn't actually a chain. It is that first part of that first stitch. And from there, that should stick you correct. If it doesn't, you might have an error somewhere, and that is totally okay. Like I said, fudge it. But also realize that if you fudge it, you might be having an incorrect stitch count for the next section, which you can fudge again there. It's not that big of a deal. Just careful. Anyway, now for reals, I'll see you at the end of the round. All right, welcome back. And now we're going to do the half double crochet corner into our first single crochet. And now we're going to do the exact same thing. It looks different because the row below us is different because it's not solid. But here's the thing. It's literally exactly the same. So what we're going to do, the first one's a little different than the whole rest of the round. We go into there. Because we have a chain 1 going into the first single crochet, we're going to pick up a loop there. And then we have this little thing right here, this little blip. It's a little hard to get into, but that is your first chain. And that's where our third one is going to be. It's hard to get in the first time. You have to just kind of wiggle it. If you're only able to grab the first loop, that is a-okay. Haha, got it. And then pull through, chain 1. And this is why you need to have loose chains, because the chains are the tight ones, the stitches are the loosey-goosey bits. So we're going to go back into that chain. It's a little easier now usually. We're going to go into the stitch and pull up a loop, and then this chain right here that goes right on top, that's where we're going to pick up our third stitch, And you can see me struggling. This is because I pulled it too tight. I win. And then pull through all 4, chain 1, and we're going to do it again all the way across. And fortunately, the second time into it, it's a little bit easier. Pull up, struggle a bit. Pull up, pull through, chain 1. And you can see, it's a little hard to tell, but you can kind of see where I started getting looser. It will become easier. So, otherwise, this one is exactly the same as the last one. Pull up, pull up. Now, if you want to go into just the first loop, not the second loop, totally understandable and totally fine. Pull up, pull up. But if you go through both loops, it does hold it a little closer. And chain 1. I think that's where I started loosening up a bit. And you'll find your rhythm with it. It will be fine. Now keep doing this all the way across, and just like before, after your last single crochet 3 together, chain 1, you will do a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, chain 1, and then start the next side exactly the same way. The only difference is that on this corner and the subsequent corners, your single crochet goes here in this kind of funky little V, because this is the single crochet and this is the top of it that you crochet and stitch into. And then this right here, this little, almost looks like a little blip right here on top, this little loop, that's your first chain 1. And that'll get you going properly on the whole rest. So go ahead and do that, and then do your half double crochet together. Now, talking about the repeat, my pattern specifies to do this single crochet 3 together round one more time around, and then do the ending double crochet round. But if you don't want to do a big one, if you want to do a smaller project, you can do just the one round. You could do that first round we already did plus this round to make it just a little bit smaller. This stitch doesn't stand up very far. If you want to make it longer, you can continue working this repeat as many times as you like. I recommend, if you can, an odd number. It just sort of somehow looks more balanced, but you can totally do it 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, and then finish with the double crochet round. So go ahead and do this round as many times as you want, ending with a half double crochet corner on each round. And I will meet you back just to quickly recap the final round of each section for this section. See you soon. All right. And look at that. We have this lovely texture. I did manage to get 3 rounds, and you can go longer than 3 rounds of the texture stitch if you like, but I am not. So we're going to start. I'm going to do half double crochets at the end of this stitch again. This is just the same thing we've been doing at the end of each section. So double crochets, 2 double crochets, or in my case I'm doing half double crochets in the corner, and then 1 double crochet or half double crochet in each stitch, including the chains. So make sure you actually get the chains. It does really affect stitch count. So you know how we do this. In every single stitch we do a double crochet or half double crochet, and in the corner we do 2 double crochets or half double crochets, chain 2, and 2 more stitches. And we do that for every single side until we get to the corner where we started, and we can close with a chain 2 and then sewing it together, or however you like to end your corners. And with that, I'm going to leave you to it, and I will see you next week for part 5. Remember to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so that when the video drops, you can be notified. Happy crafting! Bye!